Hi, we are here to talk about how to use the Strom device. Firstly, we have to understand how the screen looks like and which output is representing which screen. As you can see in the screen of the Strom, there are 6 mini screens 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These two screens are cut and coag represented for monopolar 1. This cut and coag is for the monopolar 2. Represents the bipolar and this represents the sixth one. As you can see, we are on the screen number 1, which is called the standard screen. This is primarily used when you are using only monopolar and bipolar. If you want to use other advanced modalities like vessel sealing, you need to go to the other screen. So we will be on the standard screen only and only if we want to use monopolar and bipolar. As you can see the other things, this lock sign, it indicates that the screen is locked if by mistake in the OT environment, because of pressing some button, the modality of the power settings doesn't change. As you can see, nothing is happening because the screen is locked. You can unlock it by putting your hand on this lock sign and it will be unlocked. You can see a very interesting thing here, which is this red circle. It says that PRE not connected. PRE not connected means power return electrode is not connected. As you can see, this is the power return electrode output. So the red sign indicates that the machine is not going to work. So as you can see, this is the normal disposable power patient return electrode pin. When I'm connecting it to the PRE port, you can see how the color is changing. Now it is showing PRE good contact and it has become a white. The moment the contact with the patient goes below 50%, it again becomes red and it disconnected the whole device with the patient. It is primarily being developed in such a way to protect the patient burn. It is focused on patient safety. One of the interesting feature, like let's suppose if I'm on a screen and I have closed the output, sometimes you see that output disable touch and hold and to enable the output. If you want to enable, just put your finger on that for 5 seconds and the screen will come back. So this is for the standard screen. The power, you can see it is written pure. If you want to increase the power or wattage, you just need to press on the plus sign. The power will increase. If you decrease, it will decrease. As you can see on the screen, this is the ideal settings for a standard screen. The cut and the coag has to be on 25-25 and bipolar has to be on 30. If you want to increase it, because the power requirement varies from patient to patient physiology, you can increase and it should be always increased in the point of 5. Like if 25 you need more power, go to 30. If 30 is not working, you go more up to 35. And in any case or scenario or any kind of patient type with this kind of device, you don't need to use more than 35. If you want to use the different submodalities within the cut, you can press on this sign, you will get 5 options: pure cut, lap cut, blend cut, endo cut and scale cut. So whichever you want to select, you select and you make an exit. Like I want to go back to the pure cut, I selected pure cut and I made an exit. The same way you can see in the coagulation, you have 8 submodes. Whichever you want, you select and make an exit. If you want to disable this port, you just place your finger on this output, select disable, the screen has become disabled. When you go to bipolar, same way you can increase and decrease by plus or minus sign. The modalities can be changed with whatever those submodalities you want, and then you can make an exit and you can use the device. As you can see, when I'm pressing the cut button, you might be noticing that the cut is getting activated here, because the cut sign here shows that this monopolar 1 is getting activated when I am pressing the foot switch. But there are two monopolars. So how it is decided that which one of the monopolar will get activated with the foot switch? This is very simple. As you can see this sign, this is a filled color or showing here. This is showing that this monopolar is connected to foot switch. Let's suppose you want to connect the monopolar 2, you just press here and the monopolar 2 will get activated. As you can see, when I am pressing the monopolar, again now this is getting activated. Earlier this one was getting activated. I will do it again. Now you see foot switch, the connection to foot switch is monopolar 1. I have changed it, now it is to the monopolar 2. So you can, wherever you are connecting your monopolar device, you need to select the foot switch one. If you are using an hand switch pencil, they have the start and as you can see, if it is a monopolar pencil, they have the switch already. So you don't need to worry about where the foot switch is connected. But when you are using the foot switch, you have to make sure that this sign is activated for wherever you have connected the monopolar. Now we will go to the another screen. Screen number 2 for whenever you want to use the vessel sealing. You can go, as you can see, we have come to the different screen settings. It is showing ligate. If you press this, I will come to the vessel sealing screen. These are the ideal settings for the vessel sealing screen. As you can see, it has a ligation, it has a bipolar cut, it has a bipolar coagulation, it has a monopolar cut and monopolar coagulation. So when you are using this device, you have so many type of modalities at your disposal, but you have to use it in a very diligent way. As you can see, here is the ligation port. So let's suppose I connected my vessel sealer. Let's suppose this is the banana cable for my vessel sealer. I have connected the vessel sealer here. I have connected here, and now you can see the screen. If I go inside, it is showing that the ligation is on the ligation port. This is okay. When I go to the bipolar cut, I need to select bipolar output on ligation port. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get the vessel sealing bipolar cut power also from this port itself. So I need to check this box. In the same way, when I'm doing the bipolar, I will go inside and I need to tick this thing. You can see that it is unchecked. So if I try to use the bipolar output has to be connected here if it is unchecked. But it will create a confusion. So we have to make sure that bipolar output also I'm bypassing to this port itself. So once you make this, now you can see that with the ligation, cut and coag, everything can be achieved with this same instrument which is connected to this part. How? Because we have taken the output to this port. As you can see, we have moved the connection. All these three energies are coming out from this one. So it is very important that when you see that when you are using for the vessel sealing and when you want to use the bipolar cut, you have to see that vessel sealing, bipolar cut and bipolar, all outputs are aligned to this one. Let's suppose when you want to use monopolar, let's suppose if I quote an example of the case like hysterectomy. In that, when you are using this and once you are done and when you have reached to vaginal cuff, and if you want to use the monopolar with the current 3-paddle foot switch, these things are at your disposal. But let's suppose when you want to use monopolar, you don't have to worry about anything. Your monopolar hook can be connected to this one, monopolar 1. Please remember monopolar 1. And if you can see down, this is the toggle button. If you press this one and see the screen now, the power has changed to monopolar. It can be done manually as well, but as a surgeon, this device will be beyond your reach and you don't need to go and touch this unsterile stuff. So this can be done through this toggle foot switch, which I am showing it again. You press this one, the power changes. Now I will focus it on the screen itself and I will show you the change. I am pressing the toggle switch. I am pressing the toggle switch. You can see the foot switch movement on the screen. So in that way, when I have pressed it on the monopolar, now you can see that we are using the monopolar source here. It is the same. You have to make sure that it is on the bipolar dissect, level 5. It has to be on standard, 30. On the ligation, it has to be on high ligate, level 2. If you find that it is more, then you decrease the level and you will see the power cut. When it is ligated, the screen will show that the vessel sealing has been done. Let's suppose when it has to be used for TURP procedure by urologists or for hysteroscopic procedure by the gynecologist, then there is a sign by TUR. You press that one. It will go to another screen, which is the third screen for bipolar resection. You will see that there will be two screens showing the cable from the resectoscope or the hysteroscope needs to be connected in the same way. You can see the power at the cut has to be 160 watt and the coagulation has to be at 190 watt. Sometimes we have, that query comes during the procedure that why this is such an high power. But please remember that we are using bipolar here. So it does not matter that kind of high energy because we are completing the circuit in such a way that saline itself work as a return electrode and completes the circuit. So in this 160 is required for ideal cut and 190 for the coagulation. If you go to the submodalities, it has to be on high cut 1, and if you go on this, it has to be on desiccation. And when you press cut, it will get activated. When you are putting coag, it will do the coagulation. We have tested with various kind of working elements with this. Either it's a roller or the curved one or the button electrode. It functions, it works absolutely okay with everything. If anything while the usage you find that it is not working, please go to the screen and see that the ports are connected in right place and the outputs are connected in right place or not. As you remember previously, while using the ligation screen, we had bypassed the output for bipolar to the ligation port. And let's suppose after doing that, if someone is using bipolar and it is the bipolar is connected on the bipolar port, it will, and when you start bipolar, the screen will show that it is getting activated, but the power will not go here. Why? Because you remember you have bypassed the output. It still shows that bipolar output is on ligation port. Means bipolar has been routed to this output. So we need to uncheck this. Remember, we need to uncheck this.